Donald Trump, a president who doesn't just live for power, he kills for it. A leader who shakes hands with a smile in public, but leaves behind death and the shadows of invisible graves. This is the story, the dark empire of Donald Trump, from businessman to television star, then to president. But behind it all lay blood, conspiracy, and the politics of fear. He wasn't just a leader. He was a monster who turned politics into a game of murder. Under his rule, opponents vanished, journalists went silent, and politicians across the world trembled at the mere sound of his name. Every death was a warning. Stand in Trump's way, and destruction is certain. But the question is, how was this possible? How could one man bring all of America, even the entire world, under his shadow? This isn't just the story of politics, it's the politics of murder. This isn't just the story of power, it's an empire of fear. In this video, we will uncover the dark truth. How Trump rose to power through a trail of blood. How he built a blood empire. And how his shadow consumed the entire world. And the biggest question of all, where does this monstrous empire end? Will history immortalize him? Or will destruction be his only legacy? The question remains, how was this possible? If you want to know the truth about Donald Trump, watch this video till the end. Let's begin.
The White House was still surrounded by chaos. Outside, crowds chanted, "Democracy! Justice!" But inside, President Trump sat with cold, unblinking eyes.
The walls around him were lined with grand portraits, yet beneath them lay invisible shadows, files of missing journalists, names of rival politicians,
and secret lists that decided who would live and who would die. Trump never saw politics as policy. To him, it was a game one where the only way to survive was to eliminate the opponent. When a senator dared to vote against him, the next day's headlines would read, "Tragic accident," "Suicide," or "Mysterious disappearance." The public believed it was bad luck, but in truth, every death was a carefully staged move in his deadly game. Trump understood that democracy could not be controlled by laws alone. Fear was the true weapon. So he secretly built an invisible force operatives who worked like shadows. Journalists who investigated him received anonymous threats. Those who refused to stop were silenced permanently, their voices erased forever. The public didn't know it, but every major newsroom in America had already received the same silent message. Write against Trump, and death will follow.
Even those who once stood by his side were never safe. A few senior Republican leaders dared to criticize him publicly. The result? They fell, one by one, into carefully crafted scandals. Some were exposed with sudden bank accounts full of illegal money. Others had hidden affairs and private photos mysteriously leaked. All of it was arranged. All of it was Trump's invisible hand. He had taught them one rule: betrayal meant destruction. To the public, he was still the people's president. Strong, fearless, a hero who claimed to protect America. But behind closed doors, he was a predator addicted to blood. He knew people forget easily. A few grand speeches on television, some dramatic promises, and staged patriotic decisions were enough to mislead the crowd. Thus, his politics stood on a twisted equation. Power equals blood plus lies. Beneath the White House, he built a secret archive not just for documents, but for prisoners. These were the casualties of politics. Some were trapped for trying to reveal the truth. Others disappeared for asking the wrong questions during elections. Their existence was erased from history. One journalist once wrote, "The number of invisible graves grows under Trump's rule." Not long after, that journalist disappeared as well.
Slowly, a circle of fear tightened around Trump. Enemies surrendered in terror, allies kept silent, and the people remained quiet even when they knew the truth. This was his dangerous brand of politics, where truth had no place, only the monstrous hunger of power. Once, he whispered to his cabinet, "If you want to remove me, you must die first. Because I am not a president, I am politics itself." Rule. Politics meant death, economics meant slavery, and diplomacy meant threats. He declared, "I am not just the president of America. I am the sole ruler of this world." In the deep darkness of the White House, his laughter echoed. It was no longer human laughter, it was the roar of a monster, a beast that had built his empire with blood.